creatures and lords. It's me again. I'm Miss Creepy for another session of Pesadillas. I hope you enjoy it. From a very young age, I still keep with me a dream that has been told many times over through the countless years living in this hell. Though not the worst of dreams, it's found a place deep in the depths of my cold black heart. It begins in a small, lively town not far from where I live now. Though familiar in thought, never have I stepped foot in such a place before. I, perhaps in my mid-20s, strolled through the somewhat overly bright neighborhood, so many smiles, so many tearful faces, literally making my stomach turn from such behavior and expression. Though not so much in the dream itself, I smiled back, coming close to my home, actually feeling as if I belonged. I walked the path that led to my brightly colored door. Just as I reached it, just as I took a hold of the golden-plated knob, a quick thought came to mind, a memory of sorts. Knowing me, my thoughts tend to escape me. Only luck tends to have me remember. This being important and close to my heart, I instantly gasped just as it came to mind. I had to pick up my younger cousin from school. Gaining my ability to move again, I ran back towards town, hoping he hadn't needed to wait too long. As I came to the first street leading to the school, I came to a complete stop. A sudden chill went through me, not a strange feeling, but also not one I wanted. I wanted to wave it away, hoping it was just a mistaken one, but my fear suddenly became reality as an alarm broke the silence. Screams were heard miles off, piercing my eardrums as it cried out, "Drakon, Drakon is coming." At that I knew there was a slim chance we would get back. If I would turn away now, I'd be safe, but I wasn't about to go home without my cousin. I would die if something would happen to him. I ran, passing a variety of buildings, many tall, getting the feeling that if you stood at the very top, you'd be able to touch the sky with your fingertips. I came to a point where I could faintly see the school, sprinting towards it. I stopped to catch my breath as I stood before it. Pulling at the doors, a wave of frustration washed over me as I found them to be locked. I wasn't about to give up. I began to look around in hopes of finding another way in. My gaze froze at a parking lot across the street. Right in the middle sat my cousin. I ran to him, only to be stopped. I hadn't noticed the gate that surrounded it. Calling to him only proved useless, for he couldn't hear me. Once more I scanned the area for a way in. My only shot was the glass building that led to the lot. Praying to God it wasn't locked, I pulled at the door. My prayers had been answered. I ran across a long hallway the door presented, going up a couple flights of stairs which led to another hallway. At the end of it were two stairways, one leading down to the door and the other up to what seemed to be the last floor of the building. I descended the first steps, only to be stopped again by a locked door. Peering out the small square it gave me, my cousin still sat entranced in some way. I pounded at the door, but with no success. I quickly ascended the stairs up to the top floor. Just as I reached it, a large shadow loomed over the building. Panic arose, making me dart across the hallway and literally making me fly down the last of the steps leading to the outer part of the opposite side of the building. Luckily, the door was unlocked. With all the energy that still appeared to remain within me, I took my cousin, went back into the building, and back out from whence I came. Time was of an essence. I knew we weren't going to make it home. Our only chance was to ask for help, no matter how deeply I loathed the thought. I began to knock on neighboring doors, each with no response. I felt Drakon growing close, making my anxiety grow with it. As I knocked on my last door, I slumped down, my back against it. As I held on tight to my cousin, we were going to die, and it was all my fault. Tears began to well up in my eyes. The sudden shock of the door opening behind me made them burst out. I turned to look at what I can only define as an angel, her skin pale white, her hair a long auburn wave of curls. I saw the pain in her clear blue eyes as she spoke to me. I can only take in one. All I could do was shake my head and smile, in my own way telling her there was no need to apologize. I handed my cousin to her, gave him a farewell kiss, Her one last smile before she closed the door, now seeing it more as a door to my life. As I was about to turn, I felt him. I felt his eyes on me. Finally mustering the courage to look, I saw him, his undying beauty. His eyes of piercing gold and ebony. I gave him a bitter smile. All he did was stare, as if waiting, in a way daring me to run. I began to slowly walk up to him, almost entranced, captivated by the power emanated by him. It felt just so right. He grew annoyed. I assumed he was a little crossed by my reaction. At the end, he gave me a grin of his own. At that instant, I knew death was standing near. I will die, but not without a fight. I gave him one last look before completely turning around, running one last time. The last thing he did was swing his tail, knocking a building down. I died instantly. The only thing I remember after my death was the man who cried as he pulled me out and held me close. Though I have this dream every year on the day celebrating my birth, I can never make out his face.
And that's it for this evening's tale. Pleasant dreams.